Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of A Merciful Truth by Kendra Elliot, performed by Teri Schnaubelt. Chapter 1. Police Chief Truman Daly slammed the door of his Tahoe and raised a hand to protect his face from the heat of the fire. He took a half step back, bumping into his vehicle. Flames had engulfed the old barn and were stretched high against the night's black sky. A total loss. He'd believed he'd parked a safe distance from the fire, but the toasting of his cheeks caused second thoughts. He pulled down on the brim of his cowboy hat to cover his face, ignored the flooding memories of a past deadly fire, and jogged toward the two Deschutes County Sheriff patrol vehicles that had arrived before him. The two deputies stood behind their cars, talking on their radios, eyeing the towering flames. There was nothing they could do. A faint siren sounded in the distance, but Truman knew the fire department was too late. Its goal would be to keep the fire from spreading to the woods and neighboring ranches. "Hey, Chief!" one of the deputies shouted over the roar of the fire as he approached. Truman recognized the older deputy, Ralph something. He didn't know the other one. "Did you see anyone here?" Truman asked, knowing there was no way to check inside the barn. "No one," said Ralph. "We've been here 15 seconds and there was no chance in hell we'd try to look inside." The young deputy next to him nodded emphatically. "Let's walk the perimeter." "You go around to the right and we'll head left," suggested Ralph. Truman nodded and headed around toward the back of the burning barn, putting plenty of space between himself and the hot inferno, and welcoming the crisp November air. "The fire has gotten bigger in the few seconds I've been here." In the last 2 weeks, 3 other fires had popped up around his small town of Eagle's Nest in Central Oregon. He and the fire department hadn't caught the serial arsonist, and none of the previous arsons had been on the scale of this one. The first had been an abandoned car, then someone's trash. The last had been a small shed. "He's escalating." Sweat ran down his back, and it wasn't solely from the fire. "I hate fires." He jogged through the sagebrush and rocks, the ground well lit as he scanned for any signs of victims or a possible fire starter. Ponderosa pines towered about 50 yards away, and Truman was thankful to see the immediate area around the barn was clear of...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?